All right, welcome to another edition of the Leo G Show and podcast, and this is what I do. I'm Leo G. We're trying to do this thing live here right now on YouTube and on Facebook. It looks like having some difficulties with the Facebook stream, but we'll get that worked out here momentarily. But while I got everybody on my YouTube channel, I want to give a shout out to my co-host right now with me, my man Banks and my man Derek O. Banks, what's going on with you, brother?
What's going on? What's going on? Leo G, how you feeling, brother?
Man, I'm feeling good, man. I'm feeling good. Trying to get this post going on, man. So we can do this thing live. And we're right now we're live on YouTube, man. I'm trying to get it streamed out on Facebook right now, man, so we can get everybody in. So we're gonna get a few minutes before we actually get into the show. We'll get started here in just a moment. I got my man Derek O over there, man. What's going on, Derek O?
Hey, what's going on, Leo G? What's going on, my man Banks?
Man, we're in here trying to get this thing set up, man. So I'm still working on the setup here to get everything on Facebook here, and hopefully we can get everything on Facebook in just a minute. So I've got everybody on YouTube. So if you're watching on YouTube, man, shout out to everybody that's with us doing the Leo G podcast. So bear with us here momentarily. And we should get this thing underway, man. Got a lot to talk about tonight. End of era. That's the podcast episode tonight. And got a few things on the agenda to talk about. Fellas, how was your weekend? Banks, how was your weekend, man?
Oh, slow motion, brother. Nothing special. Just relaxing on the weekend, brother, for much needed relaxation, by the way. So
that's what's up. That's what's up. Derek O, man, how was your weekend, man? We had an event that we went to, man, but we'll get into that event in just a minute, man. But how was your weekend, man?
Hey, weekend was good. Had a couple things I got into this weekend besides pollen and allergies, but hey, that's what this season is, so that's what's gonna happen.
Absolutely, absolutely. So this weekend, man, we were able to go to an event. Derek, I don't know if you want to tell everybody, man. We went out to I guess it was Atlanta, Tucky over there by the stadium, man. Had a nice little event over there with Footy Mob. Shout out Footy Mob, man. You want to let everybody know how that went?
Oh, we had a good time over there breaking in Atlanta, Tucky, and the Foodie Mob. So I just wanted to say shout out to them for hosting us. I mean, it was a great event. We was over there watching the U.S. men's soccer match that was being held. I think we ended up with a 5-1 score, I think it was. So we just got to handle business on Wednesday so we can go ahead and get that World Cup qualification.
Absolutely, absolutely, man. Shout out to Atlanta, Kentucky over there. If you hadn't been, Nappy Roots has a brewing company over there. And we had a big event over there where we were we went I'm sorry, I'm having a few technical difficulties here, but hey, when you go live, that's what happens. Yeah, so big US men's watch party over there, soccer watch party. And it was good over there, man. Seeing everybody in our Footy Mob. It was just a few more minutes, fellas, man. We about to go live here. Hopefully we get it on Facebook here in just a minute. I'm still trying to work out these details, man. So give me one moment. If not, we'll just have to stream this on YouTube, man, and then we'll have to post it on Facebook here at a later date. I was really hoping that we could get this set up on Facebook Live. Looks like everything's going, but it's just a few details here that that are preventing me from actually getting the stream up here, but I'll keep working on it here as we go. So fellas, here, end of an era. That's what we're going to talk about tonight, man. This is kind of a piggyback off of last week's show. Banks, I know you were unable to get with us, but that's what we're going to talk about tonight, man. End of an era. Matt Ryan no longer an Atlanta Falcon. 14 years Atlanta Falcon. That's no longer the case. He is now with the Indianapolis Colts. So before we get into it, man, we're going to do what we always do. We'll do a fit check and a drink check really quick. I'm going to go over to you, Derico, first, man, because it looks like you are you set the mood, man. You in tribute, brother. Go ahead and tell everybody what you got on, man.
I guess you can say it's a tribute, but I just had to pull out dust off this all white, this old 2016 Super Bowl hat that we, got going over to the Super Bowl, and the Super Bowl jersey representing the honoree of the hour, Matty Ryan Ice. And I said it just like that on purpose.
Matty Ryan Ice. Okay, that's what's up, man. You want to let everybody know what you're drinking on tonight, if you are drinking on anything tonight?
Well, it's springtime, so I got to have something. So for the special occasion, I had to pull out this this midnight lager by Stella Artois. It only comes out in the fall, so I have to keep a couple in the refrigerator because I like that beer and I can't get it no other time in the fall. And of course, I got my libations over here. So I've already had this one on the show before, but I just had to bring them back because you know what I'm saying. It's a special night tonight, so I got to go ahead and celebrate with this Colonel Taylor. It's a small batch version.
Okay, that's what's up. That's what's up. I see you doing it over there with the Colonel Taylor. You know what I'm saying? Got your Stella. You doing it. You know what I'm saying? I see you. I see you over there, brother. I see you. Banks, you want to share with anybody and share with everybody what you got going on? I know you told us, you was moving supplies around, man. So, but let us know what you got. Let everybody know what you got on and let everybody know what you're sipping on, man.
Just keeping it simple today, bro, fellas. Just working the home jersey with the ATL Falcons with one of my good hats that I wear with this particular jersey. Wearing number 29, which is me, Banks. I'm with nothing special, just on Tito's right now. Ain't nothing special tonight, fellas, bro. Just try to keep it mellow tonight.
Absolutely. Okay, got the Tito's. I hear you, brother. I hear you. So it looks like we might be on Facebook Live here in just a moment. So guys, I don't know if you could check your streams to see if we're finally on Facebook Live. I don't know, guys. Can you check it out? Can anybody confirm we're on Facebook Live right now? Okay, so Derico is confirming that we are on Facebook Live now. So all right, we're on Facebook Live. 10 minutes late, but hey, it's it is what it is. We finally got on, so now we're doing this thing live, YouTube and Facebook. So welcome everybody to the Leo G Show. Now here live on Facebook, man. We're gonna do introductions again since now everybody's joining us on Facebook, man. Hopefully we get some people to come in. I got my man Banks, my man Derico tonight. Banks, tell everybody on Facebook what's up, man. We on Facebook Live, brother.
Yeah, what's going on? ATL, what is up, man? This is my name, Banks, right here. With my homeboys Leo and Derico. How y'all feeling out there?
Absolutely, man. Shout out to my man Banks. Derico, man, we finally got this thing on Facebook Live, man. So we're gonna do some introductions again, brother. Let everybody know what's up, man.
What's going on, Leo G? What's going on, my man Banks? I was just making sure I shared that we on Facebook Live on my own page, so I make sure that we on there. So hopefully somebody gonna come in there and check us out. I see we got somebody about to join in, so that's good on Facebook. So whoever that is out there right now, just send us a shout out in the comments so we'll know who you are, and we'll make sure that we get you on if you got any questions.
Copy that, man. Yeah, we're gonna be monitoring the chat throughout the show. And also, if you want to be a part of the show here, because like I said, we're doing this live. This is something that we decided to do here with the show, kind of interact with people that have been fans of the show. So if you do want to interact with the show, there is what we call the Riverside FM app you can download to your phone, and we can bring you in as an audience member, and you can interact live like a call-in So you'll be able to, like, if you want to interact with us, talk to us, ask us questions about the show, you can. So once again, if you download the Riverside.fm app on your phone, either go to the Android store, go to the Apple App Store, if I'm saying that right, you can download that app. The link is in the bio on Facebook. I don't know if it's in the bio on YouTube, but it's in the bio on Facebook. You can get onto that app and you can come into the show. We'll let you in and we can talk a little bit. So we can do this again, fellas, since we're now on Facebook Live. We're gonna do the fit check, drink check, man. I go to you first, Derrico. I see you got the tribute on, kind of referencing what we're gonna talk about tonight, man. So let everybody know what you got on and what you're sipping on.
Hey man, I had to get the old clean white Super Bowl jersey from 2016. The hat to match the Super Bowl emblem on it, and represent my homeboy, our former quarterback, Matty Ryan. Shout out to Matty Ice. Good luck in Indy. I'll go ahead and put that out there right now. But yeah, that's what I'm repping tonight.
All right, that's what's up, Banks. I'm gonna kick it over to you, man. Do the fit check, drink check, man. Let everybody know, since we're now on Facebook Live, let everybody know what's going on with the fit and the drink tonight, man.
This is same old this basic home jersey of the ATL Falcons with my hat to match, and nothing special tonight, guys. Just doing the Tito's, bro. That's all I'm doing. I'm keeping it really mellow. And by the way, M Scales from YouTube just gave you a shout out, Leo.
Hey, that's what's up, man. Shout out to my man Scales, man, watching on YouTube, man. That's what's up. Glad we got some people out there watching us as we go live tonight, fellas. So, all right, man, we had a few technical difficulties, man. So let's go ahead and do what we came here to do. Oh, by the way,
hold on. I gotta make sure that you know somebody special is watching the show.
Okay, who we got? Who got special watching the show?
Shout out to Crystal Walker. Shout out.
Hey, shout out to my wife. Shout out to wifey, man, watching the show. That's what's up.
She said, "Hey, baby." I just want to put that out there.
That's what's up, man.
And our brother Patrick Abrams is watching us as well.
Patrick Abrams, that's what's up, man. What's up, Patrick, man?
What's going on, brother? What's going on?
Hey, man, that's what's up, man. So we definitely got some people out here watching us on the live, man. That's what's up. So it's a little lag between us actually recording and Facebook Live, man. So if you do have any messages, if you do have any comments, hit us up. We're monitoring both, and so that's what's up. So look, and so I got, like my man Banks, I got on the classic, the new ATL jersey representing, of course, like Banks. I'm customized always. I got me on the back of the jersey. That's what we do. 99. I've been doing that for quite some time now, and we're gonna get into some Falcons talk. End of an era, like I said, we're gonna be talking about Matt Ryan here. So look, fellas, we're gonna get into it here. We're gonna do something here new on the show, man. I'm gonna give my take here before we actually get into the meat of the show. Banks actually dubbed this the Lions Den, man. It's gonna be my take on what we're talking about as we go into the show and as we get into the meat of it here, guys. So since we're talking about the end of an era, we're talking about a quarterback that has been with the Atlanta Falcons for 14 years. I've been a fan of this organization since birth. Since, like I said, 40 plus years. I'm not ashamed to say it. Even before I could even understand what football was, I've been a fan of this organization. And no quarterback has been here longer than Matt Ryan. No quarterback has meant more. I think, in my opinion, I'm going to say meant more to this organization, to the Falcons organization, than Matt Ryan. Okay. So my take on it is this, man. When it's all said and done, Matt is still playing football. He's now started a new chapter in his football life up in Indy, and I wish him all the best up there with the coach. But 14 years of Falcon, man, and the guy had quite a list of accomplishments, man. 2016 most valuable player, 2016 offensive player of the year, first team All-Pro 2016, four-time Pro Bowler, NFL passer rating leader in 2016. And the list goes on and on and on, man. The accomplishments as a Falcon, over 59,000 passing yards, 94.2 passer rating. I mean, he did very, very well here. In my opinion, and this is just my opinion and my take, the greatest that ever laced them up for the Atlanta Falcons. I'm there's no shame in me saying that, and if anybody wants to argue otherwise, you can come on and let me know who you think was greater than Matt. But at this point, I want to definitely give him a shout out for what he did with this organization. You know, 3/4 away short. I know a lot of people don't like it. You know, we didn't put that trophy in the case. We didn't seal the deal. 3/4 away from a Lombardi trophy. But, you know, hey, it is what it is at this point, man. And we've moved on now. Like I said, the end of the era. And we're going to talk about it here for just a minute, fellas. So that's my take on it, man. I just wanted to give my shout out to Matt Ryan here for 14 years. And I wish him all the luck up there in Indianapolis. So let's go ahead and get started, man. Let's go ahead and get into this conversation, as I just alluded to, talking about the end of an era. Banks, I'm going to go over to you first, man. How do we feel about this, man? The Matt Ryan era is over. We'll talk about a little bit how we got here in just a moment, but I just want to get your take on how you feel on the Matt Ryan era actually being over here in Atlanta for just a minute, if you don't mind.
Well, how I feel, man. I have no ill will. I'm really happy for the guy, man. He did so much for this organization. You know, he brought this team from the depths of hell. You know, from the Bobby Petrino fiasco, and of course, you know, the Michael Vick unfortunate situation. Um, Matt Ryan came in and only did what he was asked to do. You know, he was never going to be anything exciting like the previous quarterback, but he came in and he did what he could. And he came and, you know, for all the quarterbacks I've witnessed in my lifetime as a Falcon fan, it ain't a lot, but for what I've seen out of this man, kudos, man. The best I ever seen in this franchise. So everything you've done, Matt, go in Godspeed to Indianapolis Colts and do your thing, brother. We are very proud and very grateful for what you've done here.
Hey, man, well said, my man Banks. Well said, man. Derek, I'm gonna kick it over to you here, man. I know you're itching to talk about this, man. Matt Ryan, end of an era, man. Not Indianapolis Colts. Do you want to give your thoughts on Matt and his time here and how you felt about him, man?
Well, I gotta, I'm looking at the chat comments, so I have to put them out there. Shout out to my man D Mosley from the Benny. He said Michael Vick is the best thing to happen to Atlanta. Patrick Abrams said Matt Ryan, Warren Moore, no doubt about it, and absolutely is the greatest. And your son said, "Hey, Daddy and Uncles." So shout out to Logan over there watching us on the Facebook Live. So as far as Matt Ryan, yeah, like Bank said, Matt Ryan was tasked to do something that probably the hardest thing for any quarterback to probably come into an organization to do is one to come behind one of the all-time greats and Michael Vick to put this organization on a stable path. He did absolutely that, like you would say, um, Leo. He came in and stabilized the organization. He came in on his first play of an NFL career and throws a touchdown pass to Michael Jenkins to set the tone. If I'm not mistaken, they actually went to the playoffs that year. Shout out to Keith Brooking for messing that up for us, but we know what it was on that 3rd and 15. I think it was when you out there. I don't know what you was doing, but hey, we'll let you have that. But yeah, Matt Ryan, kudos to you, my brother. You may not have gotten all the love that you deserve, but we appreciate your time here in Atlanta. I mean, you really did set this franchise on a course that we wanted to go, which was hopefully to set the bar for winning. And hopefully we'll get back to that soon.
Absolutely, absolutely. That's all that really matters is we have a winning organization here, man. I think at the end of the day, for me, and I think I speak for all of us, fellas, is that we want to see this franchise succeed and we want to see this franchise win. That's at the end of the day, that's it. That's it. I want wins, I want trophies, I want parades. You know what I'm saying? Not that drive-by that the Braves did a couple of months ago, man. We want a nice Super Bowl, nice Super Bowl parade, man, downtown. That's what we want. We want to see a lot of them, man. And much success with this organization, man. It's a long time coming. Like I said, I'm not gonna go back and talk about what happened in the past. We've been to 2 Super Bowls, couldn't get it done, but obviously, like I said, man, we're always hungry. We want to see this organization put a trophy in the case and bring it home for this city, fella. So we kind of talked about it a little bit about Matt being the greatest Falcon ever. Banks alluded to it, and of course, Derek, you spoke on it as well. But I want to talk about a little bit about how we got here to this point with Matt actually going to the Colts. And on the last episode, Derek, you and I we discussed what happened with the whole Deshaun Watson fiasco. So I don't think we need to revisit that. But I definitely want to talk about Matt's time and it being up here in Atlanta. So Banks, I'm gonna kick it over to you first here, man. We knew that this era was gonna come to an end eventually, right? Um, for me, and I'll talk about it and speak on it in just a minute. I was kind of mixed emotions. Do you feel like this was the right time? Do you feel like the process of everything collectively was the right time to kind of just, let this happen? Because we knew it was going to happen, right? But in your opinion, was this the right time and how it happened? Like, are you okay with that?
Well, I'm definitely okay with it. If you remember back last year when we was in the draft, everyone was, clamoring for Justin Fields, but for what we was told that, we were gonna ride with Matt Ryan and try to, let him ride off to the sunset, in his career here as a Falcon. I was perfectly fine with that. Um, how we got here is, we went after that guy, Deshaun Watson, and I was confused about what direction we were going after we was told one thing, and then you're doing the complete opposite. And now it backfired. It's almost like, yeah, you got to kind of go ahead and end this Matt Ryan tenure now, because it was awkward. It was awkward for the fans. Um, I, for one, didn't really agree on how everything transpired, but I felt like deep down it was time to move on. I thought it was time to move on last year. But again, we was told something different. We was told that Matt Ryan's here for another year, maybe a couple more years, and then okay, well, let's go with it. Let's go and end his career as a Falcon. And obviously, this year something went completely left. So
I think we were all to the we're all thinking that financially we wanted to run this out, right? We wanted this to run this course because of the contract that Matt had. Like, hey, let's just let this run this course and start over with a clean slate. Yes, Banks, there were talks about us selecting the quarterback in the last draft to be the heir apparent, right? To come in to sit for a year or two behind Matt Ryan, and then we could move forward, and Matt could ride off into the sunset, go somewhere else or whatever. That didn't happen. And Derek, I'm gonna get to you in just a minute, so you can talk about that, because I definitely want you to give your opinion on that. I feel like we were we it was going to happen eventually, sooner or later. I have kind of mixed feelings about how this all went down. Of course, I think the Deshaun Watson discussion and bringing him here as a Falcon just accelerated this process. We knew it was going to happen one way or another, but the talks of them bringing in Deshaun Watson accelerated the process. I think that this was going to be a done deal. Well, it is a done deal now. Matt has moved on to think when the Falcons initiated the talks with trying to bring in Deshaun Watson, that signaled the end of the Matt Ryan era. So Derek, I'm gonna pass it over to you. Like I said, a lot of people were interested in us trying to get a quarterback on in the past draft to be the heir apparent to Matt Ryan. So, like, I'm gonna kick it over to you, like I asked Banks. Um, how do you feel about this being the end of the Matt Ryan era and how it all went down? And do you feel like this was the best position that we could be in moving forward?
Well, I'm glad you clarified that we were looking for a quarterback, not a particular quarterback, as my brother Banks alluded to, naming a particular quarterback in Justin Fields. Some people were calling for Justin Fields, some people was calling for Lance, some people was calling for other quarterbacks, some people just wanted another quarterback. So yeah, so I just want to make sure that we're clear on that it's just not one quarterback that people were asking for by name. So with that being said, yes, it was time. I mean, it was time. The reason why it got accelerated because of what Bank said as far as last year, they really they really didn't tell us that they wanted to move on from Matt last year. So they had to kind of tell us that they couldn't do it because of financial reasons. So they had to really just say, hey, we're gonna hitch our wagon to Matt Ryan because he knew he had 2 or 3 years left on his contract. So with that being said, listening to the press conference, I kind of understood what they were talking about as far as not, dragging this on, even if they hadn't signed Deshaun Watson. So either way, we was going to get a new quarterback in 2022 for the season. So it didn't matter if we signed Deshaun Watson or not. They had basically made up their mind that they were going to eat that $40 million cap hit and just go ahead and move on. It was best for Matt Ryan. It was best for the Atlanta organization at the time. So at that point, we're good. We're Gucci, as the young folks would say. So I know it kind of hurt most of us that this was going to happen, but it was inevitable. You know what I'm saying? My preference would have been to have had drafted a quarterback last year to at least got a year or two of that Matt Ryan tutelage under their belt. But now that didn't happen. So now we got to roll with the new quarterback that's on the roster right now. Currently, we got two guys that are on the roster. Don't know what's going to happen in the draft, but I guess we'll talk about that later. So I don't want to jump the gun. But yeah, it was time.
Yeah. We'll talk about that here in just a minute, man. Yeah. So if you didn't know, yeah, Marcus Mariota was signed immediately after Matt Ryan was traded to the Indianapolis Colts to give us some more depth at the quarterback position. Because obviously, like Derrico, you just said, Felipe Franks was the only other quarterback that we had assigned to the roster, right? So we definitely had to bring in another quarterback for some depth. Very familiar with Arthur Smith, our head coach in his system, was with him up there in Tennessee. So I mean, I guess that was easy for them to reach out to somebody that had some familiarity with Arthur Smith. I'm kind of in agreement with you both about, us moving on. And the only thing that I guess I was confused about was the whole financial ramifications of us moving on from Matt as quickly as we did. We knew that there was going to be a Banks. Well, all of us, we all discussed a dead cap hit that was going to come about if we got rid of Matt before, I want to say, the 2023 season. It's a lot of money to take a hit on. But it's either you got to rip the Band-Aid off sooner or later. I think that the accelerated talks with Deshaun Watson and everything that happened was kind of like, hey, we got to rip this Band-Aid off. So we end up taking a big dead cap hit, which brings me into another topic that I want to talk about. 2022 season here looming. We signed a couple of free agents here. We know we're going into the draft here. We'll talk more about that a little bit later into the show. Banks, I want to come over to you here, man, because you were a very, very big person when it came to, if we did move away from Matt, making this as financially feasible as we possibly could. Accelerating this process, meaning that we took a big dead cap hit this year, meaning we can't really sign free agents like we should. So one of the things that we wanted to discuss tonight was how is this going to affect the 2022 season, right? I mean, are we officially saying as Falcons fans that this is the gap year? Because of everything that's transpired, we're giving up on this season and we're looking forward to kind of building this team out for the future, right? Is this what we're doing? Is this how we're going to approach the 2022 season, Banks?
Absolutely. You really don't have a choice. I mean, you are very deficient in the roster. If you look back at the roster as we speak, we have no pass rush. I mean, still, I guess we got to rely on a rookie or maybe a free agent, a second tier pass rush. If we're going to get a free agent. We picked up a receiver today from Cincinnati named Tate, 6'5" guy. Don't know anything about him. We're really not really picking any names per se that Falcon fans will probably recognize. So yes, this is a gap year. This is a year that it's going to be very, very painful, very long, very one of those seasons you just wanted to hurry up and end. But this is where we at, and this is, hey, we got to build it somehow, and I hope they do it right this time. I've always been a component of build a team from the inside out. Miss me with the quarterback crap. I don't care about that. Give me an offensive line, give me a defensive line, and let's start from there. And it will work on the quarterback when we get to that point. But right now, you can't win in the NFL without a line of scrimmage, in the trenches, if you will. I don't care what quarterback you have. It's not going to work. And I'm tired of going to the games every Sunday and seeing my team getting abused on the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, I agree. I totally agree. Building the team inside out. One thing I will say before I give over to you, Derico, is the last regime kind of handicapped us, right, man? They I mean, we could go into a further discussion about what the last regime did and how they put us in this situation. But now the task at hand for Terry Fontenot and the rest of the franchise is to put it to move forward. And like you said, Banks, man, we really need to work on trying to build these build these trenches and try to build this thing out moving forward. So Derek, piggybacking off of what Banks just said, where does this put us? Like, you know what I'm saying? How do we do this, moving forward, financially strapped for this year, moving forward? I mean, are we just like, okay, hey, we're good with this, knowing that next year we'll have a little more money to spend and we can kind of build this thing out? Where do we look at the 2022 season as of right now?
Well, let me just highlight two people. Um, Patrick said it's the right time, in his opinion, that we should have never entertained Watson and cost him any leverage in trade talks. And shout out to my classmate Chad Brinkley joining us all the way down south in Cairo, Georgia. So to answer your question, we pretty much knew that 2022 was going to be a dead year no matter if Matt Ryan was here, if Matt Ryan left. We knew at some point that we was going to take a cap hit. The 40 million, I'm glad it's just 1 year, it's not spread out over multiple years. We got money to spend next year. Like Bank said, this year, yeah, it might be rough. It might not be. We don't know. But that's the thing that I'm probably most excited about is the unknown. I don't think we have to have big name people on the football team right now. I think if you got 53 guys out there on the roster that got some heart and want to win and go out there and actually punch somebody in the mouth, and I'm going to go back to the Detroit team of last year. I don't think anyone in Detroit would say that that team from Detroit laid down any time last year. Hell, I won't even talk about the game against us. I won't even say nothing about it. But just think about that. I mean, if you got the right man in charge, if you got the right organization with the right mindset of what they're trying to do in the future, I think we all getting caught up in the right now. No one is really talking about the long term. Nobody's talking about the vision of what this franchise can be 2, 3, 4, 5 years from now. I mean, we just had 4 straight losing seasons. If you're gonna sit here and bitch about another one after 4 straight, then what are you really bitching about? You're not bitching about trying to win long term. You're talking about right now. In a long term, I think we need to start looking at that. Build a team, like Bank said, on the line of scrimmage. Been screaming that for the longest. Stop trying to get these shiny pieces. We fell in love on the Thomas Dimitrov with drafting cornerbacks in the second and third round, in the first round, and never picked up a good lineman on the offensive side or the defensive side, even though they tried. So miss me with
Well,
that.
okay, well, Derico, Banks, I'll get to you in just a moment. So, Derico, I want to speak a little bit on what you just said, and I know Banks, you're itching to talk about this. I don't think it was for lack of trying. The last regime did go out and draft defensive linemen and offensive linemen. I just think that it was poorly executed.
We
I
just
mean,
missed
they
a lot.
missed horribly.
A lot.
Yeah, a lot. I mean, the only offensive lineman, Jake Matthews, I want to say, he's solid. He's not, nothing to write home about. He's solid over there at the left tackle position. Defensive wise, from a edge rusher perspective, nobody. We couldn't hit on Vic Beasley, Tack McKinley. No, absolutely not. The best thing, we end up getting on the tail end of the Thomas Dimitrov regime was Chris Lindstrom. He's been solid. Caleb McGarity was a first round pick at the end when we traded back in to pick him up. But yeah, man, they left. You said it, I didn't. They left us in dire straits. So now, like I said, it's left to Terry Fontenot here to kind of build this thing. the right way. Banks, I know you wanted to piggyback on something. Banks, go ahead. I'm gonna go ahead and let you get it.
I just wanted to give a shout out to Mr. Scales. I saw you said ask Ridley if did he bet on the over under on the Falcons this season. Mr. Scales, we pretty much know there's gonna be about $1,500 on the season. Hey, I guess that's the running joke right now for Mr. Ridley. Going back what you said, Derrico, about putting the right guys on the field. That Lions game, we made out of that game with the skin of a prayer. Okay, I know a win is a win. I get it, but I'm gonna keep it a buck, yo. I mean, this team constructed now. I'm not saying it, brother. I don't care what you put out there. I mean, you need a hell of a lot of more of guys with just the want to. And all thing I see is just guys out there just happy to play football. I mean, we got Zacchaeus and Darby as a receiver. And Darby's your number one. You're not winning any games with Darby going out there win as your number one. I'm sorry. I don't give a flip who's the quarterback. Mariota, I don't care. We're flirting with 3 wins this year. And I hope I'm wrong. I hope we got guys out there that wants to actually give a damn about actually playing. And so it's gonna stop here and we're gonna win the game. But I don't see it. I haven't seen it in years.
Well, that's what I'm talking
I haven't
about,
seen
Banks.
that
I
in
mean,
years, brother.
you're
Not
bringing a
even with a
lot.
full roster. I haven't seen that want to in
That's what I'm saying.
years.
You bring in a lot of new faces. I mean, just think about it. The only holdover from that massacre in 2016 is Grady
It's
Jarrett
Grady Jarrett. Well, and Jake Matthews. Jake
and Jake
Matthews is
and
still
Jake.
here.
You got 2
And
people.
Debo.
And well, 3
Okay,
people.
Debo. So
So
three people
so
out of
so, so that lets you know how we don't forget about Debo, because right now, if they can get rid of Debo, and I'm gonna be honest with you, if they can get some assets for Grady Jarrett because he's a free agent next year, they need to go ahead and pull the trigger. I mean, he's really not a good fit for Dean P's scheme. He's too small and too light in the ass, as we would say
Well,
down in the country.
so what I just saw where they were actually still trying to work on trying to restructure or extend Grady Jarrett's contract. I don't know how that's going to end up working out at the end of the day for them, but we'll see. We'll see how that goes. So yeah, 3 holdovers from the 2016 campaign after we couldn't get it done down there in Houston. So fellas, look, we're gonna move on to another thing I wanted to get to you guys about, and I'll speak on it here before I get you guys' opinion on it, man. We talked about it a little bit, but I want you guys to go into a little depth, and this is strictly opinion at this point in time. And Derek, I'm gonna go to you first. I'm gonna give my spiel on it, and I'll go to you here. At this point, is Matt Ryan the greatest Falcon that has ever laced them up? I say yes. I say yes. And I challenge anybody to get in the chat and come at me and tell me otherwise. Matt Ryan is the greatest that has ever laced them up for this organization. And we've had names like Jesse Tuggle. We've had names like Steve Barkowski, Deion Sanders. Of course, Michael Vick that has played for this organization. No disrespect to them, but I think at this point, in my opinion, in Leo G's opinion, Matt Ryan is the greatest that ever laced them up for the Atlanta Falcons. So I want to get your opinion on that, Derek Cole, and of course, we'll get Banks' opinion. Is Matt Ryan the greatest that has laced them up for the Atlanta Falcons? Give your opinion on that, brother.
Well, in my humble opinion, he's the best or the greatest quarterback to ever play for the Atlanta Falcons. I won't put him in a greatest Falcon category. Nah, I just can't do that when you got the likes of what some of the people that you just named. I mean, even though they didn't do it here, but you got Hall of Famers that also played and went on and did greater things in other organizations. So I'm just going to leave it right there. I'm not going to name no names, but I'm just going to say the greatest quarterback, yes. Greatest Falcon ever, can't do it.
Banks, I'm gonna pass that over to you, man. Is Matt Ryan the greatest Falcon? Derek just said greatest quarterback. He didn't confirm he was greatest Falcon. Banks, I'm gonna ask you: is Matt Ryan the greatest Falcon to ever lace him up at this point? At this point, at this juncture.
Well, I'm going to name names. He's the greatest quarterback, greatest player. No, I'm not going to give him that either. I still like the likes of Prime Time as the greatest player in Falcons ever seen. Jesse Tuggle, those them guys like that. That's kind of a slap to the face to them. But Matt Ryan, greatest quarterback, yes, and it's not even close. Not even close.
Well,
Who who are
Banks.
you stacking against him?
Well, okay. So to both of you guys here, let me ask you this. Okay, so I said player, and I know that's kind of broad.
It's
When we
real
talk
broad,
about,
Leo.
well, I mean, it is broad. So I'm gonna say this much here. You guys want to say he's the best quarterback that we've ever had, but I mean, it's slim pickings when we talk about Falcons quarterbacks over the last
What-
50 plus years of this organization.
That don't mean that
Like,
you can catapult him over
But
greater players just
but I
because
and I
they're
and I
slim
and I
picking at the quarterback position. I'm just
well,
saying.
Banks just said Dion. I'm asking you who was a greater player than Matt.
Of
You
course,
know,
Dion was going to be my number one person. If you're going to talk about a second person, I'm going to say Claude Humphrey. I'm going to say William Andrews. I'm going to say, who was our center? Oh, gosh.
Jeff Van Note.
Jeff Van Note.
I
Um,
give you that. I give you Jeff.
and of course, I'm going to go with
Tommy
my
Nobles.
VSU, my Valdosta
Tommy
State,
Nobles
my Valdosta
or
State
Jesse Tuggle
alumni,
the Hammer.
Jesse the Tugger. You know what I'm saying? Just got to. I mean, you talking about that's about 10 players off the rip that you're talking about as far as greater Falcons. Now, I'm just saying, Matt, he was at the quarterback position. He ain't the most athletic person. So when you're talking about the best player, I mean, you just got to put all that and mix it up and stir it in that pot, and he just can't come out that pot as the greatest,
Okay. Okay.
I
Banks,
will
I
in
give it
my
back over to
opinion.
you.
I will say he
I
was
give it
the
back over to you,
greatest
Banks.
quarterback. He is the greatest quarterback. That's what the question should have been. And the quarterback in franchise history, well, all the quarterbacks you can list off the top of your head, Matt Ryan is he's about 10 steps ahead of all of them. So
Like I said,
yeah,
this is not a franchise with great quarterbacks.
I
Let's be
understand
real.
that. I understand that. But when you talk about when you say player, I mean you're incorporating other positions.
Right.
I get
And
it.
we have seen other great players that come through this franchise. Matt Ryan, on the other hand, like Jericho has said, he's not the most athletic person in the world, but in his position, which is quarterback, he has excelled. And I can't put nobody else in front of him in that position.
In that
And I ju-
position.
and I just thought about something too, Leo. Even though he was here a couple of years, you telling me that you would put Matt Ryan over Dwight Freeney?
I mean,
Yeah, 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 yeah.
if we no, I'm saying in that regard, then we have to bring up Tony Gonzalez as well.
I'm
In
just
that
saying.
regard,
I'm just saying. You talking
you
about?
know,
I'm talking about
I mean,
his
I
career.
would have
He
said
was a
you would have
Falcon.
said
I mean,
Abraham.
he's a Falcon. He was a Falcon, though. I mean,
he
I'm not saying
was.
that. I'm not saying that just because he was only here 2 years. I'm not talking about just for those 2 years. I'm just talking about him as a player over his career. And yes, you can put the Predator in there as well.
So was Eric
Okay.
Dickerson.
I mean,
Yeah,
you could. I mean,
Eric, yeah,
you see
he
how
was
this conversation can go,
a blip on the radar.
right?
A blip
I'm
on the
just
radar.
saying you can take
I mean,
this. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. You see how
I
it goes.
mean, well, I think at the end of the day, Matt will take his place in the Ring of Honor as an Atlanta Falcon. I think that we can all agree on that he will take his place in the Falcons Ring of Honor when it's all said and
Right.
done. Even though he'll play out his career, I think in Indianapolis, but one of the
Yes, he will.
greatest. We can all agree on that laced them up for the Falcons, man. So here we'll move forward here. My outline kind of got messed up here a little bit, man, as we're talking, and we're gonna move forward here within the podcast. So once again, I want to kind of shout out everybody. So if you want to interact with us, riverside.fm, if you download the app, you can actually come in. We could bring you in as a guest if you want to interact with us on the show. Also, we are monitoring our message boards on Facebook and also on YouTube as well. So definitely, send us some questions, give us your opinions. Derico, go ahead.
Yeah. So we got some comments in here. I want to go ahead and shout them out. Um, Theodore Clark came in and said Deion Sanders made first team All Pro more times in a Falcon uniform than Matt Ryan. and Patrick has been very active. He said absolutely get rid of both players, meaning Debo and Jared, and also said or put Grady at the DN, which they tried to do that last year. And the last thing that Abrams said was for the Falcons, yes, Matt was better than Freeney. Okay.
Okay, yeah, that's gonna be a strange fit with the 3-4. That because I mean, let's make no mistake about it, man. Dean Fours is trying. I'm sorry, Dean Pease is trying to run a 3-4 defense here. Yeah, a little tongue tied there. Yeah, Dean Pease is actually trying to run a 3-4 defense here. I mean, make no mistake about it, and you need the personnel to do so. So yeah, they've been experimenting with moving Debo and Grady Jarrett around. I think that was no secret. They were trying to figure out where could they utilize them the most. I think for the most part, just to talk about this for a little bit, Deion Jones was probably the most out of place in his defense, trying to find somewhere where he could be utilized. I mean, we all know that he's an undersized linebacker. He kind of thrived in what Dan Quinn wanted to do, but in a 3-4 scheme, man, it's hard to find somewhere to put him. Grady Jarrett, I think he's athletic enough. If you had to find somewhere to put him over the next couple of years, you could. But yeah, they are holdovers from the last regime, and it's very difficult to try to move forward with a new scheme and try to find somewhere to put them. Banks, would you agree that it's kind of it's a little awkward at this point to try to find where to fit them in?
Absolutely. You have a goal to pretty much stick by, and to go off kilter like that, then it wouldn't make sense in the long run for me. I mean, I don't know how you guys feel about that, but I know for me, it wouldn't make sense.
Yeah. I mean, eventually we'll move on. I mean, like I said, this whole thing will get scrubbed here within. I mean, that's just the way of it, the how fluid the NFL is. I mean, eventually you have to kind of scrap it, start all over again, and see where it takes you. I mean, because the window only stays open for so long. Like I said, 2016 was a window that we had to crawl in and be great. We weren't able to get it, and now here we are, 2022, trying to figure out how to get that window open again. So yeah, we'll have to eventually.
There is no window. We have to actually build a base for a house first. We don't have a window. Until we build that foundation, then we can start worrying about windows. But right now, let's worry about what bricks we're going to use to start this house.
I think this year is going to be the start of building that foundation. And you have at least 10 picks, and I think you got 6 in the top 100, maybe
82. Yeah, it was
82.
like I think 80. Yeah,
You know what I'm
something
saying?
like that.
So you got a chance to build the foundation, and you got to swing for the fences. And let me tell you, TF and AS, you can't miss on one of them. Not one of them. I mean, you got to have
That's for certain.
6 players that are going to put you on the map next year, and that's it.
And that goes for picking quarterback at number 8 as well.
So swinging back around to that, Banks. I'm glad you just brought. Hold on, wait, hold on. Swinging back around to that. That's what I was just about to say. I was just about to bring up our next point here before we move forward here. We all know in the NFL it's hard to find a franchise quarterback, right? We moved on from Matt Ryan. We brought in Marcus Mariota to kind of bridge the gap between us figuring out what we're going to do moving forward here. So, Derek, I'm gonna bring it over to you first. How do you feel on how easy, I guess I should say easy, how it's going to be trying to find the next franchise quarterback? Because just as an example, I take the Cleveland Browns for an example, man. They've been an organization that has went through a lot of quarterbacks to try to get to where they are now. And we just saw, they had Baker Mayfield. They went all in, $230 million guaranteed to Deshaun Watson now to try to get over the hump and try to push themselves into another stratosphere as far as trying to compete for a championship up there in Cleveland. Where do we stand now? Now that Matt's gone, how do you feel? How do you feel about us finding the next franchise guy here in Atlanta? Do you think this is something that's attainable in the next draft? Or do you think this is a process that might take a little longer than we expect?
If, and I'm speaking on behalf of ifs, ands, and buts, if this organization,
Candy and nuts, we'd all have America.
right, if they think that their quarterback in the future, as far as franchise title is concerned, is in this draft, you go get him. Well, let me rephrase that. You get him. Don't go get him, meaning go nowhere up to get him. If you think that your franchise quarterback is somewhere in this draft, I'm certainly know he's not at number 8. So you definitely better trade back. And I'm with you with that, Patrick. That you got to trade out of 8 if your quarterback that you're looking for in this draft is not there, um, because it's not. If it's up to me, like I said, we blew that window last year, but this year there's some solid quarterbacks. I don't know if there's going to be that franchise quarterback that people say is not a can't miss prospect. I don't know, can't say, but if it's not, then next year there's probably some people out there that you might want to considerably take a look at and say, hey, we didn't get the guy we wanted last year. So there are some targets next year that we absolutely got to have our finger on because we can't go 3 years without a franchise quarterback.
I get that. Banks, you want to discuss that? Where are we? We're trying to find our next franchise quarterback. Do we find them sooner than later, or is this going to be a process in trying to find that guy, man?
Well, let me go ahead and get to one of our chats. Mr. Stokes, Adrian Stokes, what's up, brother? He said, we have waited from 16 to 22 years for a window. Majority wanted to wait for another 3 years for this window for the Hall of Famer Matt. Okay, but for what I feel about the question, Theo, I'm not sold on any quarterback in this draft. That's just my opinion. I would really hope that they would just go straight for the defensive line, the wide receivers, the safeties, the corners, pass rush.
Build a defense. Build a
That's
defense.
all I want to really focus on. No quarterback in this draft has jumped out and say, yeah, he's the one. I mean, not one. Not even Malik Willis.
Hey, you. So listen. let's talk about that for a minute, Banks.
Hold on. I'm just saying, we brought in Mariota to be this gap, this stopgap quarterback. Well, let's just use him. Let's use him. This is what everybody wanted, so let's use him. So let's build this team. Since we're not going anywhere, build the team right and let's go.
Okay. All right. So since you brushed over it, we'll talk about this really quickly. Really quickly.
You gotta let them know why we just took a shot, because everybody.
Yeah, Leo G with really quickly says, I say that quite a bit. So when we say really quickly, we take a drink. So you just brought a good point up, Banks. We'll touch on it here because we're about to run out of time. Malik Willis is an intriguing quarterback prospect coming out of Liberty. He'll be in this draft. A lot of people say he's the number 1 quarterback prospect. We can revisit this. Well, we'll revisit this at another date, Banks. We can come back. Definitely, we have a lot of time here before the draft to kind of mull this over. There are a lot of people in this city because this is a homegrown kid. Malik Willis is from the Atlanta area. I want to say he went to Roswell High School. I want to say he has ties to the College Park area. I'm not for sure. Maybe somebody could verify that or not. But there are a lot of people. There are a lot of people that are fans of this organization that say, give this kid a shot. If he's there at number 8, you have to go out and get Malik Willis. So before we move on to the next topic and before we close this thing out, Derek, I'll go over to you first, man. Malik Willis is, I want to say, the name is coming up and rumbling within his fan base that if this kid is there at number 8, of course, there are talks that he might go before 8. There are other teams that are very high on him that might pick him before 8. The Detroit Lions have entered that conversation as possibly going after him as high as what the number 2 or 3 pick, taking him to be their future franchise quarterback. Do you feel like Malik Willis is somebody that we really need to look at if he's there at number 8 to be the next franchise quarterback of the Atlanta Falcons?
Well, I already alluded to this, in my other comment. I don't think there's a quarterback in this draft worthy of being picked in the top 15. That's just my opinion. So no, I don't care what some fans say. At number 8, if you don't, if your player, and hopefully it's a defensive player, if that defensive player is not there at 8, you better trade back, collect some assets, and then you better collect all the defensive players that you
That's if
can after
somebody
that.
wants to trade back.
I,
I gotta say that
I,
really.
I,
I gotta say that because people think that it's easy to
I
trade
just
back or trade up.
remember you just said, is somebody intrigued with somebody at number 8? If you thinking he gonna be there, somebody wants to dance. I'm just saying.
Okay.
But if, again, it's just, these are opinions and
Yeah.
scenarios. But if the defensive guy, and I keep saying this, not offensive guy, but if the defensive guy that you had your eyes set on at number 8 is not there, you better dance with a partner to get out of number 8 so you can collect some assets and continue to build that defense first.
Banks, you want to comment on that before we move forward, man, and get this thing closed out?
I want to go ahead and finish what Stokes was saying. This is for you, Derico. Stokes said we missed on our quarterback Fields. And then he later on said 49ers should have took Pitts. And they probably would have been to the Super Bowl. Listen, I said what I said about that. Build this team from the inside out. The hell with a quarterback. I'm not worrying about a quarterback right now. I don't know why everyone's in a hurry to get a quarterback. You get a quarterback in every single draft. Every year.
You come out every year.
You can get a quarterback in any draft. You don't have to get one this year. You don't have to. Not sure why everyone's trying to jump the gun of getting a quarterback. Build this team the right way, and I'm finished with that conversation.
My take on this is I want to quote Rex Ryan, I want a bully of a defense, man. Shout out to my man Ted. I've been telling him this for quite some time, man. My man Ted Clark over there on Facebook, man. Build a bully on defense, man. We can score 31 points, right? But you can lose, 31 to 32. This traditionally, man, this Falcons organization has never had a great or prolific defense, or even, a top 10 fair defense for that matter. You know what I'm saying? I mean, when was the last time the Falcons had a top 10 defense, fellas? Do we even know? Do we even have to go back and Google and figure out when the last time the team had a top 10 defense? Better yet, man, when was the last time we felt comfortable on third down? Like, 3rd and 15. Like, you can't never get comfortable with this. With the last 5-10 years, defenses that we've trotted out there on the field, teams have converted 3rd and 15s like they were 3rd and inches, man. Build this team, build in the trenches, and then figure out what you want to do over there on the defensive side of the ball, okay? And then like you said, Banks, I agree with you, man. The quarterback position, we'll figure that out. But can we figure out what to do here on defense, man? Because I tell you, if I sit over there in Mercedes-Benz one more time and they yell 3rd down and they want me to get on my feet with 3rd and 19, and I know good and well that the other team is going to convert with no problem, it's a lost cause. Build a bully on defense, fella. That's what I'm asking. If my lips to the Falcons' ears and to the Falcons' brass is build a defense, man. Let's do this in the draft. Let's go out here and get some bullies. We got some kids coming out of the UGA. We've got some cornerbacks, some safety. So we need, like you said, Banks, we need help everywhere at every position. Let's start defensively, possibly in the trenches. I know Trayvon Walker is a guy that might go high, but if he's there, take a look at him. Derico, if we trade back, if somebody wants to get somebody at 8, we trade back. Jordan Davis is there. That's a talent that you have to figure out where you need to line him up on your defense, man. Let's get some defensive guys in here, man, and start making some stops. Figure that part out, man. And then, like you said, maybe we can find a quarterback in the next draft. I don't think it needs to be a priority as of yet. We'll get to that point. I feel like maybe we can find our guy and it won't take so long. But right now, we need to build this defense and figure that out. And like you said, Derico, to your point, man, we got to hit on every pick. We can't afford to waste draft picks. Hear me out on this, people. We can't be cute in this draft. We cannot be cute in this draft. Go out, get guys that are going to be perform. We don't need no more of these Richie Grants that we don't know what we're going to do with or how he's going to fit this scheme. No, we need guys. We don't need any more Takk McKinleys. We don't need any more, and I'm not trying to throw shade at the Vic Beasleys and Takk McKinley. We need guys going to come out, bust heads, and perform immediately. Immediately, man. We need to hit on these picks, guys. We really, really do, man. Bully on defense. Derek, I'm gonna let you do this, and man, we'll try to close this out.
We really do.
Hey, man, yeah, we gotta definitely hit, man, on these draft picks, man. So
we got some comments
guys,
on Facebook.
What's up? We're gonna get to these comments, man. We're gonna close this thing down.
So, see, Abrams and Theodore, I think you call him Ted. They going back and forth about Josh Allen and what type of person that we're looking for. Theodore said Josh is a template for Malik. I don't know which comment you was talking about, Abrams, about Smart from Derico. And your wife said, so it's not just me, would you live with that really, really, really? And Patrick done said it's 11 times. We need 50 players. So, yeah, we need 50 players. We need 53 players, 58 players. How many other players? I think it's 60 on the roster, including practice squad. I think that went up because they increased the practice squad number. But yeah, we got to hit on these draft picks. I mean, there's nothing urgent than hitting on these draft picks. And I'm gonna slightly agree with you guys on this quarterback thing. If Mariota was brought in here to run this offense for a year, you better believe you better hit on these 6 top 10, I'm saying top 82 picks. I mean, flawless. I mean, they got to be impact players from the get go. And you can't be going to North Dakota State. You can't be going to Montana University. You better be going where them boys play football in the SEC. And that's all I'm going to say about that.
Okay, we'll give you that. So look, guys, hey, we can keep going on, right? You know what I'm saying? We've been at this for an hour. We're definitely going to have to come back and revisit this as the draft nears to talk about this. So as always, man, we love to do Falcons talk. We love to do Atlanta sports talk, period, man. So I appreciate you guys coming on. So look, I want to give, before we get out off the live here, man, give shouts out to everybody that's interacted with us. My man Patrick, Theodore, of course, my wife, my man Stokes, they interacted with us on YouTube, man. We appreciate you guys, man, interacting with the show and listening to us and being fans, man. We appreciate that. So we're going to close this thing out. So Banks, I hand it over to you first, man. Let everybody know where they can get at you, man. Let everybody know how they can interact with you offline.
Well, you can interact with me on Facebook at Antoine Jarrell Banks or Baby Banks 80 on the Twitter or the Gram. Yes, everyone can hit me up. Listen to these other 2 guys right here talking about I need assistance and nothing like that. Hit me up and I will respond back.
Derico, let everybody know what's up, man.
Hey man, y'all can catch me on Facebook at Stacy D Derico. You can catch me on IG at Derico_Virgo, and you can catch me on the Twitter at VSUSDD96. And I am a troll specialist, so if you troll me, I will get you.
That's the truth. That is the truth. That is the number one troll over there.
Let me say something before we go off air. Shout out to, I know you gave a shout out to everybody who's watching and listening, interacting. Mr. Scales, Mr. Stokes, I appreciate y'all on the Facebook. The YouTube live stream. Thank you guys for turning in and hit that subscribe button, please, sir. And gentlemen, keep this going for us. One thing I wanted to point out, but as the end of the show, Derico, you said that no one was clamoring for Fields. I wanted to bring that back out to your attention that at that time, at that moment, Trey Lance was already drafted by the 49ers, the pick before the Falcons. So when the Falcons picked, everyone was clamoring for Fields. So yes, I was right.
Okay.
We end up with picks. So
okay.
Yeah.
If that's how you feel,
thanks everybody. Yeah, that's how how I feel.
Yeah,
I was at the
that's how
draft
you
party,
feel.
brother.
All right, hey, look, we
That's
gonna okay,
brother.
hey, fellas, we
So,
hey,
I mean,
we'll come back around to it. I'm gonna let you go. Hey, we gotta end this up,
want
man.
it right, we're gonna do it right. I'm just telling you what was going on. So no, you're not gonna shut me up. So like
Shut
I
them
said,
down, Leo.
like
You know
I
how
said,
I feel
no,
about them.
no,
You know how I feel
no.
about them. Everyone's and
Let
everybody.
me tell
That
you
means
something.
that encompasses everybody. That 100%
Oh
I
my
ain't
everybody.
hear no one talking about they wanted to
You
do
better
it from
start
New
using
England.
most.
No
You
one,
better start
no
using
one
most and
asked for that.
some.
Did
Don't be saying
anyone ask for
everybody.
Mac Jones? Did
hey,
anybody ask for Mac
hey,
Jones?
I don't
hey,
know.
look.
No,
We're gonna come back.
no.
So look, oh, hey, look, keep that same energy. We'll come back and we will revisit this, guys. As always, man, if you want to hit us up on Twitter, you can hit us up at the Leo G Show, the #1. That's the Leo G Show, the #1. Hit us up on Twitter. Also, if you want to hit me up on Twitter, my personal handle is at Southern Set with 2 T's. That's at Southern Set with 2 T's. You can hit us up. Love to, interact with the fans and love to talk sports, especially Atlanta sports. I want to give a shout out, like I said, once again, to my Footy Mob fam. Give a shout out to my man, give a shout out to my man Reggie McKee. We're gonna bring him on, fellas. I don't know the next episode, man. We got to get back into some soccer talk, right? We got to do some soccer talk. Also, we got a couple of people that's been asking to get on the show, so we're gonna bring them on. We haven't forgot about you. I want to give a shout out to Miracle and Keandra. We're going to definitely get to you all and bring you all on the show, you know what I'm saying, so we can do some talk. So, hey, look, we're going to try to keep this live up, fellas, man. I appreciate it. Thanks for everybody that tuned in to watching us live on YouTube and Facebook. We're going to get better at this, man. We're going to try to get the kinks worked out the next time we get this off the ground. And we'll definitely have the audio podcast up for you guys tomorrow to take a listen to it if you missed us here live, man. So once again, it's been another edition of Leo G Show. We're going to be out of here, fellas. All right.